for the convention. And so we hired and worked with an Aboriginal artist, an Indigenous artist from Australia by the name of Ricky Salem. So he and I spent a considerable amount of time going through a number of iterations. He had done an abundance of research about the four-way test, the objects of Rotary, all of the different things, and then, of course, the inspiration I provided to him about why I had selected the words Imagine Rotary. So this circle in the middle, it represents the power of connection. And as he explained and expressed it to me, when elders were sitting in circle together, cross-legged on the ground, sharing with each other, when you get up, there's a bit of a half moon indentation on the ground below you. And so taking that and closing it off created this ultimate connection, the largest connection. Around that, you see dots, and there's 7 of them, and they likely represent people sitting in dialogue and conversation. But I selected 7 because of our 7 areas of focus. So it gives us that opportunity to be able to talk about the things that we can do through the channels that Rotary provides. Now below, and this is, well, actually, I should say this, the middle circle and the surrounding dots, what he expressed to me was when he combined them in this way, they became what he termed a navigation star, something to guide us into the future. And I just love the thinking of that we have sort of this North Star, if you will, to help us guide our actions. And then the bottom part, as I was going to say, probably my favorite part. He told me this is a digging stick. And so what they would use this for, decades and years ago, was to dig up the earth. And so to dig it up, whether they were planting or whether they were building, this is what they would do. When they needed to do hard work, they needed a digging stick. And so for us, it's our metaphorical digging stick. As people of action, we need that digging stick to help us do the hard work that we're going to do. So I hope when you go into your clubs and you're able to share with them a little bit about what that's about, that it gives a little bit of perspective. There's going to be many ways that people can interpret it who haven't heard the story, and that's fine. I think it's wonderful that people can have their own personal way of interpreting things. The colors, purple, green, and white, were selected primarily because as our first woman, president, which I have told most of you in the rooms that I attended, is not something I'm going to spend a lot of time talking about, but the colors of purple, green, and white are the colors of the women's movement, the suffragette. And for me, it was a very subtle nod to that history. And so, as we look at the colors, I've also taken a little bit of a different stance on having theme jackets that our district governors typically have had from year to year. It's been a tradition. I wore a green jacket, and I wore it very, very proudly. But this year, and as we move forward, embracing diversity, equity, and inclusion, I opted to not have a jacket for our governors this year, but instead to have these theme colors, so that we can all be more authentic in who we are, to express ourselves in ways that are meaningful to us, and perhaps unite a little bit behind colors. So thank you. Somebody was clapping about that, so thank you. Yes. No, I think it's important. I think it's important that we're all able to be our authentic selves, particularly as we look around the communities at the members that we want to be part of our movement, that we need to walk that walk in